What is going on, Wash fam? If I had $3,500 to invest in some pressure washing equipment to get the ball rolling, to make me money on the job site and be somewhat efficient, this is where we would start. Welcome to the channel, you guys. My name is Rusty. This is a page all about pressure washing, soft washing, paver sealing, anything in between we cover on this channel. We are at Sailfish today, located in Southeast Florida. Check them out, sailfishspray.com. Anything we mention in this video, if you are not close by, you can order online. We're gonna go over a bundle package coming in a little under $3,500. If you guys order this or come in the shop and pick it up in person, you will receive a free gift of over $100 in value. So stay tuned, I will let you know what that is by the end of this video. I'm gonna show you guys the first item that you are obviously going to need in the beginning of your pressure washing journey, which is a pressure washer. But do me a huge favor, like this video and subscribe to the channel only if you enjoy the content. But it does a tremendous job of pushing it to the right entrepreneurs that we want it to reach. So let's jump into the pressure washer right now. This is your basic starter 4 GPM machine coming in at $1,550, and it includes the gun, 50 feet of hose, a chemical injector as well, and I'm gonna let JR break down some of the specs right now.
So this particular machine I actually started off with in my career. I ran this for almost probably 10 plus years. Honda GX390, 13 horse, you cannot beat this engine. I mean, this thing is just a workhorse. Anybody who's been running these engines will tell you, you can put a couple thousand hours on them and they're ready to rock and roll. 4 gallon a minute, 4,000 PSI. In this particular setup, we have a Comet pump on there. I personally am a fan of. I've been running the Comet pumps for years. They treat me well, so we just stick with them. Comes with 50 foot of 1-wire hose. You're gonna have your typical 36-inch lance that comes with most machines. A series of tips. So you're gonna have a red 0-degree tip, a yellow 15-degree tip, green 25, white 40, and then this is gonna be your black chemical injector tip. You're gonna apply this when you want your downstream injector to suck in some type of a soap, degreaser, SH is going to be your most common. And then as you saw on here, we have the chemical injector setup as well. This is going to come with a 4-foot drop tube, a weighted filter that's going to go on the end of it. That's typically going to go into your 5-gallon bucket.
What's awesome about the 4 GPM, you guys, is you don't need a buffer tank to supply a machine like this. You can still get away with running off the customer's hose spigot, which is typically on average around 7 GPM. So with that being said, you can skip on the buffer tank, but you will need some garden hose to run your machine, get the water to the machine, and this is where FlexZilla comes in. What we recommend, you guys, is 5/8, 50 feet of FlexZilla garden hose. This is coming in at $65. This is gonna be perfect for you to place your machine on an average home on pretty much one spot through the property. You're not gonna have to be lugging everything around. With a pressure hose, you will be pretty much able to reach everything, but this is just gonna get that water to your machine. And throughout this video, you guys, we're going to do a budget option for every item, and we're gonna recommend if you should or should not go a budget on that particular thing. And with the machine and the hose, no savings yet so far, unless you're on a really tight budget. You can find a machine like this on Marketplace, but I would not go with anything smaller at Home Depot. You're just gonna be kicking yourself in the butt, wasting money, eventually buying this anyway after spending the 500 bucks at Home Depot. But let's move on to the next item.
So with the FlexZilla lineup, one of the reasons why we carry this brand and not your typical Home Depot or Walmart brands is if you ever grab a hold of those, they have a little bit of a stiff plastic feel to them. And what happens is over time, they'll develop a kink in it. FlexZilla has this hybrid polymer that they use. It's a pretty soft hose. Even guys use this for soft wash setups. But we like this hose because it reels up real nice in the back of your truck if you don't have hose reels. But really, the biggest thing for it is it doesn't really get kinks in it. Probably a real common problem that we all have with hose spigots. It's never typically in the most convenient spot in the house. So every once in a while, you got to run one across the driveway. And of course, your homeowner has to leave right when you're in the middle of a soft wash or in a pressure clean or what have you, and they got to run over your garden hose. Well, they do that to your Home Depot hose, more than likely you're going to have a bust in it. With the Flexzilla, much more forgiving. I'm not going to tell you that you can drive a garbage truck over top of it, but your typical car, go over top of it, no problems whatsoever.
Next up, you guys, obviously is some high pressure hose. So as mentioned before, the machine does come with 50 feet, but to eliminate having to hump this thing around the property multiple times, you're gonna want some extra hose.
I would say probably the most common hose that you're gonna have lengthwise on your truck is gonna be 100 foot. We offer in the FierceJet brand their hydraulic flex line. For me, it's a fantastic hose. Their one wire is actually my favorite. The one wire hose for us is 190 for a 100 foot piece of it. It's going to come with your quick connect ends on it. I've been a fan of the FierceJet. I've been running them personally on my rigs for quite some time now. It takes a while to break one of these. It really does. I've had customers run them over. I've had dump trucks run them over. You know, they hold up pretty well. They hold up really well with chem, especially when you're downstreaming a lot. I feel that typically on my hoses on a normal 30 to 40 hour week, I'm seeing about a year and a half out of my hose, which is tremendous as compared to most. A little bit higher on the price, but you definitely get more bang for your buck. If 100 foot is not quite in your cards right now for 190 bucks, we do have 50 foot options, which will give you an option just to add on a little extra piece for pool decks, what have you. That's gonna run you 110. You know, that's also gonna come with your quick connects on it. Again, one wire. There is 2 wire options available, but keep in mind, we're trying to keep to a strict budget-friendly model.
All right, you guys, next up, one of the most important tools you're gonna need for your pressure washer is a surface cleaner. This is the Whisper Wash 16 inch. So this pairs perfectly with that 4 GPM machine that we showed you. What is this model called?
This is the Ultra Clean 16 inch.
Okay, Ultra Clean. So JR and I both personally started out with these. We went to Whisper Wash and haven't went back since. These guys are industry leading in surface cleaners. If I've gotten a new one, it's because I just wanted a bigger size or a different size, not because mine actually broke. This thing is absolutely perfect paired to a 4 GPM machine. So if you're totally new to this, this is just going to be cleaning your flat surfaces. It's going to connect to your high pressure hose right up here, and you can clean cement much more efficiently. Pavers, certain pool decks. This is going to be a very handy tool, probably the most used on your truck. Really quick before we move on, you guys, for my more advanced guys out there, I want to show you something really cool. This is Whisper Wash's new quad bar. You may have seen similar ones around, but this is their version of it. And if you've tried a quad bar, any at all, they're absolutely amazing. But you can see just the durability of this thing, just from the camera. You can see how well structured that looks. Right now it comes on the 19-inch model, and then you can get it as well on the 24-inch model, the Ground Force. Check that out. I will link the product description down below. You can order them straight from sailfishspray.com.
So personally, what I love about the Whisper Wash series is they just build what I feel is the highest quality surface cleaners. Now I'm gonna get a bunch of keyboard warriors that are gonna blow me up and tell me Mosmatic is better, and they probably are in their opinion. What I love about Whisper Wash is a lot of the interchangeability with their handles, their parts that they have amongst all of the series, whether you get the 16-inch all the way up to the 48 Mondo, they have the big Hippo series. It's all gonna be the same handles, same swivels, same style cartridges that go inside of the heads. So starting with the top of the surface cleaner, the handles. Now a lot of guys are gonna delete this in the future, but just for the budget purposes, your machine's gonna come with a handle on it. Eventually you'll realize that the handle is a little restrictive. You'll wanna switch that to a DN10 ball valve or just go straight with it. But the Suttner handles, which is the ST610, 601 model, this is the same handle they put on all the machines. So if you break this, it's readily available. There's not a separate handle for different machines. If you decide to upgrade, you can always just keep one handle extra on the truck. What I love about the Whisper Wash lineup is their swivel series. Their swivel series is the same on all of the machines, whether you get the 16, again, all the way up to the Hippo series. The swivels, in my opinion, are fantastic. They're much stronger. They have a much thicker inner diameter on them. But what's great about the swivels is we all know they leak over time, right? So whether you get the GP, the Hammerhead, or Whisper Wash and Mosmatic series, What's great about the Whisper Wash is as they leak, you can replace the seals on it. So we sell a seal kit. Whisper Wash introduces. It's going to have all of the different O-rings in there. Literally, you just unscrew the green swivel, which is called a Series 3 swivel. You unscrew the swivel right out of your machine, take an O-ring pick, pop off all the O-rings, replace them with new ones, got a brand new swivel again. Heaven forbid you do happen to run over a rock, pool coping, what have you, and on your spray bar, you hit something and it snapped the bottom of that swivel. Well, now I don't have to buy a whole Series 3 swivel, which is, you know, gonna run you a few $100. We can replace just the innard of the Series 3 swivel with a Series 3 swivel cartridge. This is a drop-in plug-and-play unit, already has the O-rings and everything on it. Gonna come everything brand new. Literally, you just unscrew the green and silver pieces of the Series 3 swivel, drop in a new cartridge, attach a spray bar, hook everything back up. Really what has me sold on the Whisper Wash, for me personally, and I've always started with Whisper Wash, I never went to anyone else, their spray bars. Since day one, their spray bars are just, they're magnificent. They are probably the thickest spray bars on the market. Now you're looking at me and saying, well, what difference does it make if my spray bar is a little bit thicker than the other guy?
What do you mean by that?
Well, the first time you hit a pine cone, first time you hit a piece of river rock, you hit the edge of a pool coping because you're rolling your machine over a little too much. On those BE, the Hammerhead, the GP series, you're definitely gonna bend that spray bar. That spray bar is probably a little bit less than diameter than your pinky finger would be. Great base budget model, the GPs, I'm not knocking them. They'll save you a couple $100 if you wanted to go with one of those, but you definitely get what you pay for. One of these bars here, this is damn near a weapon on one of these. These are great bars. The tips are interchangeable. If you decide you want to up your machine to a 5-gallon, 8-gallon, we literally just change out the tips to a different orifice size. You're up and going.
As far as budget goes, you guys, like JR said, you can get a BE, you can get something along that nature. If you want to save a couple $100, money's tight right now, you're just starting up, you can save some money on a surface cleaner. But JR and I both, without knowing each other, decided to just go straight to Whisper Wash, because at some point you need to realize you're going to pay once and get a good product, or you're going to pay twice and end up with a good product at the end. So you can try out the BE, you can try out the general pumps, but you'll probably, like most people in this industry, end up with a Whisper Wash. Before we move on from surface cleaner, you guys, here is some pictures and photos of the budget options with prices right below them, so you can check them out. They're not carried here, but you can check them out. I just want to give you guys that option in case the Whisper Wash is not quite in the budget right now. But that's going to wrap up the pressure side of things. If you've purchased everything this far that we've showed you, you're very well covered for pressure cleaning. So we're going to jump into the soft washing side of things now, where we can get you a budget soft wash setup built and go over a few options that I know you're going to love. All right, you guys, starting off on your soft wash journey, this is where many washers start off. There is bigger options, gas-powered machines. You've probably seen me talk about my Comet P40 a lot. But this is where most people start off, including myself and JR. This is a 12 volt, 5.3 GPM unit. So this is going to deliver your batch mix. Well, you can meter off of this, but for this budget setup that we're doing, you're gonna be batch mixing, pulling from this pump, and now you're able to apply a hot chemical mix that a downstream injector may not take care of. To start off, these Remcos, you're not gonna get much more budget friendly. All of these 12 volt pumps kind of range in the same price, but with Remco you have a strong company and backing behind your product, great warranties. But anyway, the beautiful thing about these is if you're on a job site and you have a spare in your truck, you can disconnect and connect a new one in the matter of minutes. So this can come down to you finishing a job or not. With a gas soft wash or an air soft wash, things of that nature, if something breaks that is not easily replaceable, you may have to be leaving that job and coming back. So 12 volts, little less flow, little less pressure, but it is a very reliable unit that you can swap out very quickly as long as you have a backup on the truck. This particular one comes in at $250. And again, I'm not going to recommend any budget options. They all hover around the same price. And they all pretty much do the same thing.
So for a entry-level starter system for a soft wash hose, really you have a few different options. One's gonna be just a clear poly braid. Most likely you're gonna be running a 1/2 inch Half inch is going to be your most common for most soft wash hoses, especially in the 12 volt. 12 volt, you're really not going to touch any 5/8 lines at all until you start getting up into the 7 and 8 gallon a minute pumps. So we offer two different options for a budget friendly hose for chem. It's going to be a half inch clear braid hose, poly braid. It's rated up to 150 PSI, which your pump is not going to push any more than 80 to 90. We sell that at 99 cents a foot. I would say the most common length is going to be 200 feet. Which is going to get you from your trailer to the back of your truck onto a roof. Then also too, a lot of guys like the Fluxzilla, which we carry. So again, like we talked about earlier, the Fluxzilla will not kink on you. What's great about the Fluxzilla hose really is it's real soft. So as you're dragging this across the roof tiles, up the side of a house, going across the gutters, we're not going to worry about banging against the gutters and chipping the paint.
We'll move on to tanks now, which you are going to need next to batch mix. If batch mixing is totally new to you, we will break it down really quick. But I just want to mention really quick, you guys, in that $3,500 budget, we were accounting for 200 feet of that hose. So as JR said, he recommends 200, and that was accounted for in that budget. So like I said, you're going to need something to mix your chemicals in, to pull that chemical from, and that's gonna be a tank, obviously. So what we have here is a 55 gallon C3 tank. This is coming in at $299. It's a vertical tank. Whether you put any of this equipment that we're talking about, you could throw it in the back of the bed of a truck, in a trailer, on a skid, whatever the case may be, all this stuff will work, but you can ratchet strap this down to anything. The beautiful thing about this tank is, how thick are the walls?
We are half inch thick on these.
Half inch thick on these walls. So for you guys that don't know, the thickness of the tank is very important. You may think, oh, I can get away with a very, very cheap shipping tank, and those things will bulge and bust on you guys over time. A good budget route, actually, I think where I started off at is the cheapest option you will find is going to like Tractor Supply, and they're gonna have some 30, some 20 gallon tank options for you guys. And no matter what tank you get, you can put your 12 volt pump that we showed you pretty much right on top, right beside any of these tanks. But the downfall of going with a smaller tank is, me and JR were talking about it, if you have a roof wash that is approximately 1,800, 2,000 square feet, that's gonna run you about 40 gallons a mix. So with a 20 to 30 gallon tank, you're pushing it really close. You're probably gonna have to jump up and down off the roof, refill that chemical, redo your batch mix. As if you just spend a couple more bucks, you can go to a 55 gallon and not have to worry too much about jumping up and down that roof, which when you're actually doing the service, you will be thinking, man, I wish I just went with a bigger one. So that's it for tanks, you guys. Okay, and this was not included in the budget, you guys. This is not absolutely necessary. And this tank strap is exactly what I'm talking about. But if you have a little over the budget we're discussing, this thing is perfect. It can be held down by ratchet straps, but just look how clean and neat and nice this tank strap looks, you guys. It fits right in perfectly. It's gonna assure you that this tank is not moving at all. So this comes in at $299 as well. Like I said, this wasn't part of our budget in this video, but if you have some extra money to spend, this is a good place to do it.
All right, so at the end of your soft wash hose, you need to be able to apply it to your roof, to your driveway. So you need some type of application gun, right? So the most common, cheapest version is gonna run you probably around $6, $7. That's gonna be your half-inch ball valve, right? So on this half-inch ball valve, we can put a couple bushing adapters on there. We can run a 1/4 tip. We can run a black chemical injector, quick connect tip on there. Kind of a few different options for you. Ball valve, now you're gonna need two hands, right? So you're gonna be holding it. You turn off your ball valve, you can choke it a little bit if you want half the distance, half the spray with it. So, it's your most common and probably the easiest to work with, right? Also too, if you break it, not gonna hurt your feelings. Cost you $7, $8 on this. But for the guys that wanna be able to do everything one-handed, so especially on a steep roof, you gotta put your hand, stabilize something. We make a soft wash gun. So what we have is a half-inch chemical injector gun. This is the Suttner brand again. We'll put in a sprinkler riser on there. We'll bushing down so we can have a 1/4 quick connect fitting on. So on the end of this, I can swap out my tips. I can run my chemical injector tip. So it kind of gives you a different option of what we can run versus the PVC ball valve. Something like this is gonna run you somewhere between the $50 and $60 range, where we got just maybe $10 in material wrapped up with this ball valve with tip, sprinkler riser, the whole 9 yards.
And like JR said, you guys, that black tip that comes with your pressure washer, you can use that for your soft wash system, but you will find out you're gonna want different tips, different application patterns, some thinner, some more narrow, some down to 0 degrees. So you can reach some really hard to reach places without having to crawl up there. And if you want any of those tips, they are here at the physical location, and again, online at sailfishspray.com. All right, guys, so here we have it. This is the bundle package. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this stuff comes in at a little under $3,400, so you'll have some remaining money in that budget. You're gonna need things, just little things like ball valves that are gonna make your life easier, some plumbing parts, things of that nature, so that will fit into your budget. What JR has decided to give you guys, if you buy this startup bundle, he's gonna give you 3 soaps from C3. So these are gonna be some soaps that are not just gonna sit around. They're probably gonna be used on your first few jobs. The first thing is going to be your choice of a surfactant. So if you guys, we have Lemon Drop, Blue Crush, or Red Crush. I've tried all 3. My absolute favorite is a tie between Lemon Drop and Blue Crush, and that's just because of the scent. But all of the surfactants here check off my boxes of what I need in a surfactant. That is cling, that is scent, and how far is it going to spread? Am I gonna get my money's worth if I buy this product? These check off all the boxes. The other thing he's going to give you guys is Rust Guard. So this is a battery acid stain and rust remover. This works great on those pesky irrigation stains. You have those vinyl fences with orange all over them. You dilute this and spray it on there, and it's gonna take that away right away, make you look like a professional, make you look like you know what you're doing. So this is perfect for those rust stains. And finally, he is going to include some Wax Guard, which is a very high-end product. Very great product. Me and JR personally have these chemicals on hand at all times. The beautiful thing about Wax Guard, you guys, with that pump in your budget option, you're gonna need to rinse that out, and you don't wanna rinse it out with just water. It takes a lot of water to truly clear the SH out of those lines. What Wax Guard is doing, it's neutralizing that chemical so it's not eating away at your gun, at your pump. It's preserving and protecting your equipment, which is crucial in the long run because SH is so corrosive. It's gonna eat through so much stuff, and the longer you take care of it, the more money you get out of each item. So that stuff is included if you buy this budget setup, you guys. That's gonna wrap up this video, you guys. Thank you. If you made it all the way through, please, again, like, subscribe. Let's make this video reach the right entrepreneurs that are looking to get into pressure washing. Huge shout out to Sailfish Spray. We're at the physical location now. If you're in the Southeast Florida area, come check us out. We have everything you need in here. Any questions you have about business, pressure washing, soft washing, paver sealing, one of us would love to help you out. And a huge shout out to c3skids.com. Both of them huge supporter of the channel. So thank you guys so much. We will see you in the next video.